welcome to my knitting podcast. If you're new here, my name is Lærke, and I'm a Danish knitwear designer and podcaster. I am coming to you from an island called Fyn in the middle of Denmark, where I live with my partner and our 2 children. And I generally talk about knitting, about what I've been making, new designs I'm working on whenever I feel comfortable showing them, and also talk a little bit about my life. So since I last podcasted, I have a lot of things has happened. So I think I will keep that until the end of the episode. That way we can start getting into some of the more creative projects. And then if you want to stick around until the end and listen to me chat about what I've been up to, that would be lovely as well. I have different projects to show you today. I actually have something new for this channel, and that is I've been doing some embroidery. I don't think I've ever showed embroidery on here. I might be wrong. I actually started learning embroidery when I was a kid at the same time as I learned knitting. But I don't do it very often. For me, it's something I can do if I want to. I don't know many techniques, but I always just watch a YouTube video and figure it out. I used to do cross stitch when I was younger, and also some more freehand embroidery with my grandmother. And so I have some embroidery. I have some mending. I've been doing some mending, and I have been knitting on some smaller things. And then I have 2 new maybe designs. They are still in the making, but I feel like sharing them at least up to the point where I am now. So yeah, I might be sweating a little bit during this episode because I put on my most heavy sweater, maybe the warmest sweater I have, because I was so cold earlier on. I didn't get enough sleep last night. I just had some things, so I didn't get enough sleep, and then sometimes I get a little cold when I'm tired. So I put on this big blanket of a sweater, and then the sun came out and it got really warm here where I'm sitting, but I didn't feel like changing because I have to leave in an hour. I have to pick up my kids. So I'm just gonna keep on going, but if I look a little warm and flustered, that's why I opened the window. I hope you can't hear the wind. That happened last time. But yeah, I can tell you what I'm wearing before I get into the projects. I'm wearing my own design. It's called the Laa Sweater. Laa means flea in Danish, and these little 1 dot of color work, like 1 stitch color work pattern, is called lopper. And it's just like a very big, cozy sweater knit in manchelopis and silk mohair. And it has, no, it's just manchelopis. So sorry, I've been knitting so much unspun yarn together with silk mohair that I just have it in my head that it's with silk mohair. This one is manchelopis. It's actually a really pretty colorway from Istex. This one is, what is it called? Frozen Earth or something? Okay, my cat is coming. It has a very fun shoulder construction, so the shoulders are like satin sleeves, and it's all knit in a contiguous method, and it was a lot of fun to come up with. It has these really wonderful big squishy sleeves, and I love it so much, but it's very warm, so I only wear it when I'm very cold, and I thought I was very cold, now I'm very warm. So it served its purpose, but I'm dying a little bit. Let me start with the embroidery. I have embroidered on this pillow case these little flowers. So if you are new to the channel, I moved last year to this house, and I have packed down all my things, and every time I unpack something I find stuff that I like, old projects, and this pillow was an old project. I had seen that you could embroider like with the yarn all over the pillow in a yarn shop, and I got the whole kit to make it. I didn't explain that very well. I wanted to make an all over embroidered pillow, and I got a yarn kit to make that, and then I started and I forgot all about it. So I found this pillow again, and there was only a little bit of embroidery up here. Actually, I broke a little bit of the thread when I was trying to remove it. So I was thinking, oh no, I can't use this pillow, it has a hole. And then I thought, okay, why not embroider something on it and fix the hole? And then I looked a little bit on Pinterest and I saw a similar pattern. Oh, that got blown out completely. I saw a similar pattern to this one. I can try to put in some B-roll if you cannot see it properly. And I just thought that looks really cute. They were just simple flowers. So I found some yarn. It's not embroidery thread. The yarn I used is this Isaiah. I think this one is called Spinny. It's just a single ply Isaiah yarn. Oh, it's getting really bright. Let me just adjust a little bit. Here we go. So it's this Isaiah one single ply yarn that I got many years ago. I never used for anything and I don't really know what to use it for because I tried starting different projects and I never know, but it's really a really nice color and I just thought it looked really cute as the little, I used French knots to make the inside of the flower, and then I had some white yarn. I can't find it anymore, but I just used that. And I thought it turned out really cute, so I just wanted to show it and maybe as a little inspiration of something you can do if you have an old pillowcase, like simple pillowcase. So I had a lot of fun making this. We have had a week of holiday, so I had some times with the kids home and I needed to work on more simple projects. So normally I don't work on designs when I'm with the kids if I have to think or pay attention to what I'm doing. So this was much nicer. I don't have to write down a pattern while working on a pillow like that. So I also started doing some mending. Actually, my daughter has had this week, they had a theme of recycling clothes at school. And one of the things they did was mending. So I got in the mood for mending as well. And she has these pants that she has been wearing all summer. They are double gauze pants, which is not the most sturdy fabric for pants. So they wore out on the knees really quickly. And I added some patches to the knees. So sorry about the sun. I might have to pull down the curtains a little bit so I don't have these white spots. I did this knee as well. And then on the bum there were a few places where I needed to add some little reinforcement. There was a hole. Okay, so that was also something I really enjoyed doing together with the kids. So they were doing other things, but I was just sitting there at the table and mending away. And I don't know, it's something I like to show my children that we can do. So I like to do it with them. And my daughter is really interested in these things. She's been mending a few things herself at school because they had to bring some ruined clothes to try to mend. So I think that's wonderful. By the way, I have no idea what my hair looks like from the side or the back. So I apologize if I can feel there's a lump sticking out. So when I turn my head, it might look completely ridiculous. My hair is crazy long right now and I have to cut it. But it just takes a long time for me to cut it myself, so I keep postponing it. So today I decided to put it up in this braid. I actually have a tutorial for that on my Instagram channel. It's very simple, but I just realized that the back is not looking the best. Who cares? Who cares? I'm in a good mood today. I don't care too much. And the last little project I worked on while we were sitting all at the table is this adorable little super cute pumpkin. I mean, it's so cute. It's missing, I want to put in a stem, but I want to get some cinnamon stick to add in. Let me see if I can show you. So there's a hole in the middle for the cinnamon stick. I used some manchelopis for this one, and again this was a little bit of yarn I had left over, and I found it while I was searching for, I think, sock yarn. I was searching for sock yarn for another project that I will show you in a moment, and I found this and I just thought I want to make one of those pumpkins. I followed a free pattern. I will try to link it below if I can remember which one it was. There are a bunch of patterns on Ravelry, and I just went, okay, I just take a free one, because all I really wanted was the stitch count, not to sit and calculate anything myself. And then after I made it, I don't know if this is in the pattern because I didn't check the rest of the pattern, but I just ran some thread, some yarn through these ridges that are there already. They're like pearl ridges, and tightened it so it created a little more of a bubble scalloped edge shape. Yeah. I think it's super cute. Will I make more? Maybe I could make a little white one to sit on top, like a little smaller. But I want to put the cinnamon stick in just because it's sweet and it smells nice. So I think it's cute. About Halloween, we don't really sell it. Like, when I grew up, it wasn't a thing in Denmark. Now you find it everywhere, but that's because the shops have been pushing it quite a lot as a commercial thing. It's not something we used to celebrate in Denmark. We used to dress up only for Carnival. But my kids really want to do it, and I can get into the whole pumpkin thing. I don't mind. Oh, okay, now it got really dark. Let's see, is that better? Too bright? Let's stay with this one. There are some clouds coming and going, so yeah. So I've always feel a little conflicted about Halloween, because for me it's not a holiday that has any special meaning. I know it has for a lot of you guys because you grew up with it, but I didn't, and I feel it's a little bit imposed into the Danish society. But the kids love it. I can get on with that as long as it's in a nice and quiet way and not too commercial and plasticky and buy a lot of skeletons and put them everywhere. Although my 5-year-old, he would love to put skeletons outside in our garden in front of the house, and yeah, I don't know, maybe he will convince me. But little pumpkins and also carving pumpkins, I think it's a lot of fun. I feel like I'm talking really quickly today, but that's the mood. That's I'm feeling quite energized, or maybe a little I didn't sleep enough kind of feeling. I have something new I've been working on, and this is this little sock. Oh, it should probably be this way to make sense. So the heel is down here. And this sock, it's a maybe pattern in the making, because it's quite simple, but the idea for it came from a need I have to keep my legs warm. So I bike a lot, and when I bike, and I also wear shorter pants a lot, like pants that are cuffed up, and I often feel cold on that piece of my leg that sticks out. So I wanted to create a pair of socks with a wider and warmer cuff, and I went through my yarn stash just to see if I had something that could go together and something a little more heavy for the top. So I really like the look of these chunky socks in boots, but I cannot fit them in my boots. And I wanted something really thick to keep my ankles or the lower part of my legs warm. And then I looked through my stash, and I had this skein of Knitting for Olive, they're merino, but the big one. And in the colorway, I think it's called Oatmeal. They changed the name on this one, which has been giving me a bit of a headache, because they changed it on their silk mohair as well. But I will talk more about that with the next project, because I also use the same colorway on my on the next project I'm going to show you. But yeah, this is the Oatmeal colorway. It's a really nice, little bit marley colorway. Okay, I was not sure if the cat wanted to come and join me. He just walked by. And I just think it's really nice and thick and plump. And it's 100% wool yarn, woolen spun. I think it's DK worsted. Probably, no, it should be worsted. And so I knit the cuff in this yarn. You can unfold it but I am planning to keep it folded. Unless I'm biking, then I could unfold it to just have a larger part covering my leg. But then what I really like is this part will stick out of the boots, but the rest is knit in normal sock yarn, and that way it's a not too chunky sock, but it will look like a chunky sock in my boots. And I just really like that look. So that was the idea. And then I paired it with this yarn that I had in stash. This is the Lana Grossa Millen White, and it's the tweed base and the black one, I think. I don't know if they still have it. I think they might still have it, but it's just, I really love tweedy yarn. You can see how it knits up here. It has a lot of little specks of yarn, of tweed specks. And then I thought it would be really nice to have something dark brown for the heel. It doesn't look very nice right now because, and then again, went stash diving. I thought, why not? I mean, even if I make this into a pattern, a lot of people will have sock yarn in their stash. So it's nice just to use whatever you have. I found this, which is a very old attempt to knit something when I was very young, and I knit it out of sock yarn. I remember it was sock yarn, so it's not very soft for a garment. And it's this lacy, I think it was a vintage pattern I found somewhere. So I'm never going to finish it, that's for sure. I don't know what pattern it was. I don't have it in more yarn. So I just thought I might as well use it for what it was made for, this yarn, and that is sock yarn. So both these yarns have some, I think, nylon, and I prefer to stay away from that. But since it's already in my stash, since I know it's good yarn for socks and sturdy, I will use it. So I think that's way more sustainable to use up what you already have. And I think it looks really nice, the colors together. So I will make the toe in the same color. And I made an eye of partridge heel on this one, and it doesn't look very nice because the yarn is so bumpy. So I hope it will block out nicely. And if not, it's just a reinforced heel that doesn't, yeah, I don't mind so much. But if it's for a pattern, I of course hope it will block out and look pretty and presentable for the pictures. Yeah, what more to say? It's a very simple sock. I'm adding some of my favorite details. I'm paying a lot of attention to getting it, writing it down in a nice way. But I'm a little bit unsure if it's too simple to release. So let me know if it's something you would like. A simple sock pattern with a chunky cuff, which by the way does not have the same stitch count as the rest of the sock. But so, and then an eye of partridge heel, which I think is really pretty. Yeah, if that's something you would be interested in, please let me know, because I'm writing down the pattern also so I can just reknit them, but I always get a little unsure if there's enough design element in a pattern. I like to release patterns with something special in them, but I think this one is really nice for an everyday sock that can give you the look of chunky socks, a little bit of a cheating. Then I have the last thing I really want to show you in this bag. Just a nice linen bag I got from, I don't remember where. It's not a knitting bag, but I like to use all kind of bags for knitting. I have balls of yarn in here. This is unspun manchelopis that I've used also for my Cardigan sweater. And this is all I have left of the skein. So I hope I have enough. If not, I will have to order some. It's such a beautiful yarn to work with. I'm quite obsessed. And as I did for my Cardigan sweater, I'm holding it double with silk mohair. And I'm also out of silk mohair. This is what I have left of the silk mohair. Okay, let me change the settings again just a little bit. Is that enough? I hope. So this silk mohair is the Knitting for Olive silk mohair, and I really love using it. But I started using some leftover I had from my Cardigan sweater, which is the I made with the silk mohair in the colorway Oat. And when I wanted to get some more, I realized it had changed name to Oatmeal. And it didn't look exactly the same. So, and I had already knit the top of the sweater, and yeah, I ended up getting 2 more balls of the silk mohair in Oatmeal instead of Oat. And I think they're very similar. They're so similar that when you're holding it together with a rustic yarn like I am, I cannot tell the difference. But when I had them next to each other, there was a little bit of a color difference. So just in case you are you had the same issue as me, trying to figure out what happened, it changed the name and probably also changed the color just a little bit, but it's pretty much the same color. So let me show you what I've been working on. It doesn't look like much yet because some of the best is yet to come. But I've been working on a very simple sweater that is a drop shoulder sweater with just very, very simple. It has just around, is that a crew neck? Is that a crew neck? I think. And I'm working on the second sleeve, so I'm not missing that much. I think I will have enough of the manchelopis. I don't think I will have enough. I have to get another ball of silk mohair. That's out of the question. But I wanted to show you if just maybe see if you can tell when I changed the yarn, because it's somewhere up here. I changed the silk mohair and I cannot tell. But maybe you can spot it on the camera. I don't know. And yeah, I had an idea for this design to make a very simple sweater, because sometimes people ask me, do I have a beginner sweater? And I don't really have a beginner sweater. And I really love just a simple drop shoulder sweater that's pretty much just 2 squares. And that's what I started out making. First, I made it a little bit with less ease, but I really like that the drop shoulder goes down quite a bit on my shoulder. So then I added in more ease, but then I created another problem for myself, and that is the bottom of the sweater, because I want this to be quite cropped. You don't have to knit it cropped. It would be very easy to make longer, but I really want to wear this on top of dresses and with high-waisted stuff. And the sun came out again, so it just keeps coming and going. It's just shining through the window, so that's why it's so hard to predict. But so the issue came in when it's very boxy and very cropped. It kind of flares out, especially on the back. It kind of has this tent shape, like an old-fashioned tent, and I don't like it. So I tried. I have to add something on the hem. That's the special detail that's coming in. And I tried adding that and it didn't look nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to decrease on both sides, just to take off like a little bit on both sides. So it's gonna look straight, but actually it will have more of a, like it will go in the waist, but you won't notice it. But I guess that's how most bodies look if you have, of course depends what shape you are, but if the shoulders will be wider than your waist. So I think I'm almost there. I have pretty much reknit this one. I knit this one twice because I knit the shoulders one time, then I decided I wanted it bigger, so I reknit it. Then I knit the sleeve when I went to Poland for the holiday, so I knit on this one while I was in Poland, and for some reason I was very lazy doing the math while I was there, so I didn't calculate how many stitches I would need. I just picked up at a random rate that seemed okay, and the sleeve turned out enormous. So then I did the calculation, figured out how much ease I wanted, and then or how many stitches I needed to get that ease, because I had already decided on the ease, but not on the amount of stitches. And I knit the sleeve again, and now I'm at the second sleeve. And yes, so I have knit 2 sleeves, 2 shoulders, and I'm gonna knit 2 bodies. That's how designing is many times for me, is I just have to reknit things many times. But I'm really pleased with how it turned out. It sits really well. I love the neckline. It sits really well on the shoulders. The sleeves have a nice length. And I made the cuffs quite wide so you can fold them back if you want less length, but I really like to have some length, so I thought it was a nice touch just to have them either long or short but cuffed. And I have to talk a little bit about this fabric, because when I put silk mohair and the manchelopis together, it just creates, oh, I'm breaking the yarn. It just creates the most beautiful lightweight fabric. So this yarn is very fragile, and even for an unspun, it's very fragile, and it's very lofty, not very scratchy. It's just very dry to the touch. But when I put it together with the silk mohair gives it a little more sheen, it makes it more sturdy, so when I hold these two together, it doesn't feel like it's gonna break all the time, but it's such a light garment. It weighs nothing. I was carrying it around while we were in Poland with me in our backpack when we were out walking, and I could just take it everywhere because it was not heavy, even if it's a sweater. So I'm really happy with it. I love how the shoulder seams came out. It's just a cast on and then pick up shoulder seam. And I'm planning to make this very, very easy to follow. So I'm doing it in steps, each part, so you can easily find where you are if you're a beginner. I'm also planning to make videos for it. I haven't been making videos for this one, but I am thinking to release it in children's sizes as well. So I thought I could knit one for my daughter and use that sample as for making videos, because it will be much quicker to knit the different parts. Normally, if I have to make a video for a whole garment, I would have to make a setup for video, then come back many times in between, and this doesn't work very well for me. So I thought instead I could make a smaller one and then just record the different techniques, but not having to wait so long in between. I will say this one is really quick to knit up. I knit it on 5mm needles. These are my Lykke needles, I love, and it knits up super quickly. So it's not so much a question about knitting it up quickly, but since my camera decided that I had reached the end of the recording limit. It has a recording limit, so I just had to press the button again. I think I said pretty much everything I wanted to say about that design, but I can't wait to show you when it's finished and I have added the final touches and details. I just think it's gonna look really nice. So I think I have talked about everything I wanted to talk about for today, and I hope you are having a wonderful October. Oh, I wanted to talk a little bit about stuff, not knitting related stuff, just what I've been up to. So the month of October for me has been really wonderful because I had family visiting. So I had my Italian little sister visiting. I lived in Italy for 1 year when I was 16. I did a 1 year of exchange. So I lived with a family for 1 year. So she's my little sister from that family. And it was just wonderful to see her. She came here for 1 week and stayed, and we went for a lot of walks and talked a lot. And I tried to dust off my rusty Italian every time because I love to speak Italian, but I don't practice it quite enough, so it gets really rusty. And then, she was here, and then she went home, and a few days after that we went to Poland for not Easter. I keep calling it Easter. It's I think it's because in Danish it starts with an E, but it's efterår in Danish, so it's the fall holiday we have, and it's one week holiday break we have in the fall. It's a holiday we used to have because children had to help getting the potatoes out of the ground. But since we don't make children work anymore that way, we have 1 week of holiday. And we went on holiday to Poland to visit my partner's family. And so his parents live there. Okay, another cloud. Hello, there we are. And it was lovely. His parents are so sweet, and they really look forward to having spent time together with the children. So they took the children out most days, and my partner and I could just walk around in Poznan, where he's from. So we walked a lot and had good food and drank coffee and just went to the cinema and enjoyed ourselves. So it was absolutely lovely to go there and to spend some time and to have a bit of free time. We are full-time parents always, and I love that, but sometimes it's just wonderful to also be a couple and spend time together as a couple. And the weather was pretty much perfect the whole time. It was pretty crisp and fresh, but very golden and beautiful. And yeah, since we came home, I've been trying to catch up on work. As I work as a photographer, I have a lot of shoots in the fall. It's very popular with families, so I've been doing a lot of photo shoots. And yeah, I try to juggle it all and have time for everything. Can be hard sometimes, but I feel like it's been a really nice month for me, but also a little bit of a busy month. And what suffers every time I plan too many things are my knitting patterns. They just take time to produce and to release. And I had the cardigan I showed you in the last episode. That one, I had big plans of having it in test right now, but I didn't manage before everything happened. And then things happen, and it just means when I don't start the test, it will take some months before I can release it again. I have to give my tester some time. So at this point, it's probably gonna come out in January. And of course that's fine, but I think I said it would be out earlier, and I really wanted to have it out earlier because I finished it and I want to share it with the world, but I also need to put enough time for testing, and I still need to have it graded. So yeah, that's what's been happening. A lot of social times and family time, and that is very important. So I'm happy about that. I think I've talked enough. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to follow me and see what I'm up to, please follow me on Instagram, and where I'm also Fibertails. So just everywhere it's Fibertails. And yeah, I will see you in the next episode. Bye!